Sai Ram. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week. I think it was a wonderful discussion last week. But I think we were hoping to discuss today what Swami had mentioned 3 qualities of a devotee. And I think we had decided that we were just starting to discuss how to avoid fear. Which is a quality which devotees should not have. I think that's where we were. We will just continue from where I will ask the sisters to read the passage and then we will continue. Saira.
To feel that the Lord is away, afar, separate from you, that is called paroksha jnana. To feel that the Lord, who is immanent in the universe, is in you also as the Atman, that is aparoksha jnana. If all the activity is moved by the dedicatory spirit, the chitta, inner consciousness of man, can be rendered pure. Only those who have pure consciousness can recognize the divine nature of the Lord's Janma and karma, said Krishna. All cannot so recognize them as divine. Yet no one should avoid contact with the Lord come in human form. Try your very best and utilize every chance. There should not be any lapse on your part. This is emphasized in the 10th shloka of this chapter, where the signs of the adhikari, the deserving candidate, are given. Arjuna, not all can understand the divyatvam of my janma and karma. Only those who are free from attachment, hatred, fear, and anger. Only those who are immersed in the name and form of the Lord, who know of no other support than me, who are sanctified by the knowledge of the Atman. Only these can grasp it. Those who seek me undeviatingly, possessing Satya, Dharma, and Prema, will reach me. This is absolutely true. Take it from me. Give up any doubt you may have. Men render the inner consciousness impure by dwelling on the objective world through ignorance. They take delight in mere shabda, sound, rasa, taste, gandha, smell, etc. When they seek objective pleasure, they are tempted to secure the objects that give the pleasure. Foiled in the attempt, they get restless, hateful, and afraid. Fear robs man of his mental resources. It creates anger that cannot be easily pacified. Thus, desire, anger, and fear are aroused one after the other, and those 3 have to be removed. Arjuna, revolve in your mind these facts and then act. Become reasonable. Have faith in my words.
Thank you, Kalyani. So we were discussing this 10th shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodha, and that's what we were doing last week. So I will stop here. I will open it up for discussion. How do we avoid these 3 qualities? Was a discussion which we had, and I think we discussed the other 2 may be easier to attain, but fear was something, I think that's what Sister Ananti said, is something very difficult to overcome. And how do we do that? And I think that's where we stopped.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sister, on this question was why this fear comes. She understands raga, dvesha, there's attractions and repulsions, and even krodha. But bhaya why should it come in? That's what I think she was asking this question. I hope so. Anandi, sister, if you are there, am I correct?
Sairam auntie, my question was, I can control desire and anger, but I am unable to control my fear because that is beyond my control. That sort of understanding I have had.
Yeah. Let us start at the root of this fear. What is it it causes fear for us? That is the first question. When we we have got all attractions, and those attractions, when they result in your acquiring some pleasure, that is, we feel that, oh, this pleasure has come. Is it going to stay with me or it will go away? Or when we don't get things also, we get scared. Oh, I'm not going to get it, I think. So this kind of feelings come to us, and Swami gives a complete how to get over this fear. Swami has said in one of his discourses, fearlessness occupies the place in primary importance. It's the ideal virtue. Unless you have fearlessness, you will never be able to live comfortably, he says. And then because we attach ourselves so much importance to our body consciousness, we are only thinking about the worldly pleasures. Swami says, leave off those worldly pleasures. Try to concentrate and develop faith in me, so that you will not be afraid of anything. This same thing he says, because the desire, anger, and fear are aroused one after the other. These three have to be removed. Revolve your mind on these facts and then act. Have faith in my words. That's what Swami is trying to tell us. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Sairam, like fear, like for example, you say that, okay, your kid, son or daughter who get a new driver's license and he goes just alone in the car, and you worry about, okay, he's going, I don't know, he would be okay or something. But just think it this way.
Brother Bharathan,
yes.
Can you speak a little louder?
Okay. Yeah.
Or towards the mic, I think. Thank you.
Okay, Sairam,
yes.
Can you hear now?
Yes, a little better.
Okay. So just say like your son or daughter, he get a new driver's license and he went alone somewhere in the car, and you worry about maybe, okay, he's the person would come back or he would have an accident. That's what you start to think about. That's how you get the worries. But just think it that way, and you have it, you got the license and you drove it, and you came back okay. Anything happened, that is, just leave it to Swami, would take care of it. And then don't worry about it. And that's how it is. Just pray the Lord and leave it to Swami, take care of it. And then you overcome that fear. Just have that strong faith of Swami would take care of it. And then you will overcome with it. And that's how I take it and I look at it. Sairam, thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Yes, Brother Dasan.
So Sairam, brother. Fear is very important in order to live disciplined life. If you don't have fear, then you don't have discipline, even the animals, even the human being. So it will bring you proper character, good character. Even Brother Bhagawan said, even our kids, or when we drive, if we don't have fear and our speed we don't obey the traffic rules. Anything in our life, we supposed to have fear in order to live in a good way. So we have, in the world, we think we have lots of fear, especially the death. So we have to understand we don't know when we're going to die. So leave it to the God. Do your duty. So in the world, we think everyone, when we are doing whatever Auntie said, we are attached to so many things. If we don't have attached and if we do our duty without the attach, we are not going to have fear. The reason we are fear, we don't understand ourselves. You have to find yourself who you are. You have to search within you. Then you will understand who you are. When you started to understand who you are, whatever we are talked before that, like a movie theater in the screen, then you'll understand we are in the play. So, and other thing, Swami always said, don't be fear when I'm here. So this is my understanding, brother. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sai Ram, this is Akku Auntie.
Yes, Auntie.
Paba Bidi. To do the sin, you have to fear. That's what we have learned. So every time you think you're doing something wrong, then you have to think about all the consequences and avoid doing it. Then you have to develop that fear. Other than that, fear you should not have for everything. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Swami in one of the discourses says, get over fear by establishing your mind in the one. For fear can arise only when there is another. When the truth is known for it is a rope, faith in its harmlessness is made firm, and fear that it's a snake will disappear. One of the discourses Swami says that about overcoming fear.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
And he quotes one story also. I would like to share that story also.
Yes.
Can I? Yeah.
Yes, Auntie.
One hermit was living in a village, and then, that village was very much affected by cholera. In those days, cholera used to sweep the whole village, and the whole population is completely swept out. So in those days, that hermit asks the cholera angel when she is coming, today, how many did you kill? So the angel says, only 10. What? 10? How can it be? Hundreds are dying and you say 10. I really killed with cholera only 10, but the rest 90 died out of fear. So this is the story Swami says about the fear. Fear of something also makes us really, it can result in disaster. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
Sairam.
Yes, Auntie.
I feel, as the others say, if you fully surrender to Swami, and if we have that faith wherever we go, when we drive, when we are alone, Swami is there. So that confidence I get, and I rarely feel fearful. That's what I see. Sairam.
Sairam. So if there is no other thought, I think a few things came out from based on what I was listening. I think the first was the type of fear which we have. I think having fear of sin helps us to lead a disciplined life, as Brother Dasan and Auntie Saku were highlighting. So that fear is a good fear, which will help us progress spiritually. But the desires which Swami is the fear Swami is talking about here is that which comes with the desire. Desire, or raga is the word which is used. So which is it can also be attachment. Raga Dvesha means something which you like so much. And so I think Krishna also in chapter 2 he says, usually first we have desire for something, then once we get it, we are afraid that we will lose it. And if you don't get it, we get angry. Okay, so the desire has these two problems. Once you desire, you get something, and once you get it, you're worried that you will lose it. It will go away, whether your life, your family, your children, your property, even success it will elude, it will go away. So that is the fear. But when we don't get it, then we get angry. We get angry with something, somebody, the world. So the desire causes these two. The children of desire is these two, as Swami says. Fear. One is fear, other one is anger. I think that's what Swami is referring to, and I think that's what everyone talked about. It is because of our body consciousness, if desire for this and that, we have this. Ultimately, Swami would say that because we think this all permanently going to be there, and so then we are worried about. We are even knowing that it's not permanent. Also, we get afraid. We say, "Can we have it for a little longer?" Things like that.
Once we get it, we are afraid we may lose it.
Yes.
That is the fear which bothers us a lot. And even if it, how to protect it? If I don't protect it, will go away. That's also another kind of fear which causes. Sairam.
Sairam, the reason I asked, maybe I don't know whether Brother Varadan read my mind or they captured my thought why I asked that question. Most of the mothers, they always think about their children, if they go out, if they don't come back within the time, or if we don't receive any calls from them, automatically the fear comes into our the mind. And I thought whether that could be because of the motherly relationship with children, or whether that sort of relationship, whether that is unhealthy, or maybe that is the opposite side of the, or maybe the side product of the affection and the love too, whether something would have happened to our loved ones and those things. So that's why I asked that, the attachment, hatred, and anger, these three things, it's really under our control. But fear, it's little bit out beyond our control. But all the brothers and sisters, they nicely explained, once we surrender to God, and God will look after, even though we don't walk with them, we don't guide them, even they are somewhere else, that sort of understanding, I got it. But practically very hard to got into our mind, this part, fear of the children. Other things, property and those things you can buy, but sometimes this thing, in my personal assessment, it is little harder as a mother, the fear of anything, everything. If something happens to our children, even genuinely, if we touch, if we touch our heart and say, I never ever, worry about my children. That would be very few people they can openly say, yes, I never ever feared about, worry about my children. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Sairam.
Yes, Sairam, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead.
Thank you. That was a very good, opening up of this question on fear. I think fear is inherent in all of us because Swami has said very nicely in here, men render the inner consciousness impure by dwelling on the objective world through ignorance. So when I think of fear, with my children and our grandchildren, I cannot think clear. Even if they don't come back home or when they didn't come back home before, now they're all married and whatever. It's when I get into that fear, there is a lack of clarity in my thinking. And I cannot function properly. Like, what am I supposed to do now? And then that fear feeling that we all are familiar with, not just children, even for ourselves and what the world is going through. But Swami is saying here, we're dwelling on the objective world, and also this includes the mind-body consciousness, and we have ignorance on it. So that familiar feeling, when it comes, what do you do? I think that's the question. If we have impure consciousness, what do I do with this fearful feeling? How can I get clarity into my next action steps? And Swami has said this, go have faith in me, do bhajans, or, for me, it's Rudram. I play the Rudram, sometimes 2-3 rounds, and then suddenly it's just taken away. So for me, and then I just get an insight, a sight within, and Swami is saying, oh, you can do this. Very simple. I said, why didn't I think of this before? When my inner consciousness is clouded within ignorance, I cannot think. Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, Sister, Sairam. Thank you. Any other thoughts? I guess it's fine. So I think Sister Sananti's question, I think others have answered this also. The thing is, Swami says, why fear when I am here? So we think, oh, when Swami is there, why should we need not worry? But actually, that statement of Swami is a little more than that. The way I understand, because that moment the Lord is not in our thought, fear comes. When the Lord, so the thing is, you may think, oh, I am always thinking of Swami, but still fear is coming. That means I think we are not giving proper, the proper due to the Lord as the one who is looking after. I was listening to one prasangamo, one exposition by one Bhagavata. He's telling Prahlada saw the Lord everywhere. Whatever he saw only Lord. So because of that, the Lord was forced to take care of him in all kinds of situations. See, we are worried about somebody dying, but Prahlada was one, his own father was trying to get him killed. He was thrown from the mountain. He was made to drink poison. The elephants were, driven to, stampede on him. All that happened, but nothing affected him because he saw the Lord everywhere. That is the example which Prahlada said for everyone. So because he knew the Lord was everywhere, from whatever he saw, the Lord was coming out and helping. And that's how Narasimha came out of the pillar. His father asked, is he there? He said, yes, he is there. So the Lord came out from the pillar and helped. So I think Prahlada sets the highest example for us to follow. Know and think of the Lord and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
So I think why fear when I am here means if the Lord is in us, when we think that the Lord means He is all powerful, He is all caring, all compassionate, He will do the best for everyone, then I think the fear should naturally leave. But so I think what it boils down to is we have to cultivate that kind of faith, that kind of remembering the Lord all the time, and also seeing the Lord in everything. And sister was talking about Rudram. Rudram is actually seeing the Lord Shiva in everything, in the thief, in the most worst crooked criminal, the one who butchers everyone. In them also you see the Lord. There's one Anuvakam of Rudram is only about all the worst scoundrels. Vanchate, Parivanchate, Sthayu, like that it goes on and on and on. But remembering that the Lord is in them also. So, sister, it's not by accident that sister was saying. So, that is Rudram. Rudram means you see the Lord in everything and everyone, in every action also you see the Lord. That is, if that becomes our life, then whatever we see is auspiciousness, Shiva. Rudra becomes Shiva. So it is not by coincidence that sister which I was telling. That is why not only chanting the Rudram, listening to Rudram, understanding the principles in the Rudram, if we practice it in our life, the secret is there's no fear. So that's what I understand. So I thought I'll just summarize it. If there's any,
it was a really nice discussion, Didi.
Sairam, brother. So as you have said, when I'm here, no fear. Then when you think of God, you won't have fear. That means you don't expect everything to happen positively, right? What you think has to happen. So in anything, something negative happen even, that fear shouldn't affect you. You have to take it that also something for you to learn from it. Like that, you have to set your mind like that. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Just I wanted to point out, sister, if you think, oh, something has to happen, mean that at that time when we are thinking about that something, we are not thinking of the Lord. So Ananya Chintayanto means, see, as soon as the mind shifts from thinking of God into some worldly thing, fear comes. It slips in. So that's why Krishna later on says, Ananya Chintan, don't think about anything. Don't think about anything.
Yes. So the
Sairam.
yeah.
Sairam, is
yes,
that does it mean that when you surrender to God and you have God in you, you will develop positive thinking?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. My understanding is yes. Thank you.
Yes, Brother Tasa.
So, Sairam brother, I'm not taking that much time. So, if you're bhakta and if you develop your bhakti, that means you are having a relationship with the God and and yourself. Even though that is the Dvaita state, bhakta is different, God is different. But if you surrender everything, that is Advaita state. That means you are not thinking anything. So that is a fearless state. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam.
Yes.
Yeah, I really encountered after the COVID first year. Actually, Swami came and warned us in my child's dream, but we followed that. But still, we really encountered, and everybody was isolated in the room, the houses. But we face. I can't go through everything what I went through, but it was a very fearful thing. And actually, one point I had to leave the house too, but it's not easy because I start to practice fear when I'm here. And then I was asking Swami, like whatever he said, we did. But Swami warned us, but we did. Maybe then after all this time, I'm trying to think maybe my past karma or some lesson did I learn. But when you really encounter, even I can share one thing in my about before COVID. One time I was just driving and I was talking to my daughter and I see a man and that eyes, I know it's not good. So immediately I didn't want to alert my daughter. I just said, don't look that side. But I know he started to follow me. Then I quickly, from third lane to, I had to go to one lane and I went to a plaza because I don't want him to follow. But this is long time ago. But when these things, when the bad people or any evil thing, I can understand what Sister Anand is saying and I can understand what Sister Aruna is saying. It's not easy. We try to surrender, but the fear is not that easy. Like I chanted everything. Then I even end up in calling India Kashi. Then I shared this experience with one Kashi Iyer, and he said to chant some mantra. You won't believe it. And the same instant started to come back again. Swami started to come in my dream. Not Swami, but I see in the sky like a Hanumanji. And I chant a mantra. And same instance coming, and I am in front of that person, and I'm chanting that mantra. So it's not easy in life. I don't know, maybe it could be my past karma, but I didn't get over that fear up to now. So it's not easy. But then later, I think now, when Swami is there, nobody can come near me or anybody. But it was like a movie. Sorry if I took the time. I just want to share. Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Yeah, I think everyone recognizes that the fear is something which not easy to let go of or overcome. But I think Swami sadhana, if we go to the second paragraph, he says, only those who are immersed in the name and form of the Lord, who know of no other support than me, who are sanctified by the knowledge of the Atman, only these can grasp. So I think, more and more, even we are not powerless. So I think those practices will help us to deal with fear is what we can gather. And it's not an easy thing. It's a lot of hard work. And we have to keep the effort going. I think with those, I think we will, otherwise we will be always afraid of letting go of the topic. So we will move on to the next slide.
That is one.
Saira.
Arjuna heard all this and asked, Nanda Kumara, why can you not make the sacred and high stage available for all persons? You have announced yourself as Premaswarupa, embodiment of love, and Dayamaya, embodiment of compassion. Why then all this partiality? I must declare it as favoritism, for you endow this stage only on jnanis and deny it to the ajnanis. I would even say that the ajnani, the ignorant person who has no discrimination, the person who swings like the pendulum of the clock from one thing to another, merits your grace more. The jnani knows everything. He is aware that the Jagat, transitory world, is Vishnumayam, divine power to delude. Why then should it be made further clear to him? They have no more need of grace. Krishna replied, yes, men are usually overwhelmed by such doubts. You represent humanity, and so your doubt is humanity's doubt. By clearing your doubt, I can also announce my message to humanity. Listen, those who seek me are of four types. One is always worn out by ills that affect the body. He is the Artha. Another is worried by the struggle for prosperity, power, self, property, posterity, etc. He is the Artha Arti. The third yearns for the realization of the Atma, reads the scriptures and sacred texts, moves ever in the company of spiritual sadhakas, acts along the lines laid down by the sages as sadachara, good conduct, and is always motivated by the eagerness to reach the sannidhi, presence of the Lord. He is the jignasu. The fourth is the Jnani. He is immersed in the Brahma Tattvam, Brahma principle. The first, the Artha, worships me only when he is in difficulty and suffers from grief or pain. When he prays to me, I hear it and I satisfy him only in relation to that particular difficulty, that particular grief or pain. So too, when the Artha Arti prays for riches or position or power or high status, I listen and award him only the particular thing he craves for. The Jignasu is blessed with the chances to do Nishkama Karma, desireless karma, with a proper guru as guide, with an intellect that is sharp enough to discriminate between Atma and Anatma, and thus helped to achieve the goal. I bless him so that he is saved from distractions and helped to concentrate on the single aim of liberation.
Thank you, Kalyani.
Small correction, Kalyani.
Yes, Auntie, I knew. Okay, Sarvam Jagat, Vishnumayam Jagat.
Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Auntie.
Arthi, Artharthi. It's not Artha, Arthi. You have to elongate that A. Arthi, Artharthi. The one who is in, that's it. Sorry.
No, thank you, Auntie.
Okay.
And there's another correction in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
Swami is saying, Jnani understands Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. This, I don't know, the translation says Maya, they have somehow read Mayam as Maya. So the Jnani knows everything in this world is filled with the Lord, Vishnumayam. Okay. So the translation is wrong. So Jagat means in this created world which comes and goes, everything, Sarvam Vishnumayam, it is full of Vishnu, or that's the only way I can translate.
No, Arjuna is asking Krishna,
yes,
those who know that Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat, such a Gnani, why do you want to, Neo Marimari Telupanakkar ledu kada? You don't have to tell him that Gnani. But variki denitono nimittamu ledu kada. There is no reason for them to doubt this thing. But you take some compassion, some daya on those people, ignorant people, and try to teach this to them. So Arjuna is asking on behalf of all of us to bless us. Yeah. Saira.
I think we were asking how to overcome the fear. The answer is Swami is also giving.
Yeah.
So as long as you are an Arti, Artharthi, the fear and all that will be there. So that's it. So I will stop here. I will open it up for any discussion, comments, questions. Saira.
What is the name referred by Nanda Kumara, please?
Nanda Kumara.
Son of Nanda.
Okay. So the Nanda is a godson like that?
No, Nanda is the name of Krishna's adopted father, you can say. Nanda and Yashoda were the ones who brought Krishna up. But I think at this point in time, Swami, I don't know why this name is being introduced. Because Nanda also means happiness, joy, bliss. So the Lord actually is born of anyone who has joy. If we are constantly happy, the Lord becomes our child. The Lord is born to us.
Good, thank you.
So that is also, Swami doesn't just use. See, each thing which Swami throws at us has something to. So one is historical fact. Nanda's son is Krishna. But it also means one who is always happy. In a state of Nanda, is to be happy. Nandadi, Nandatyeva, like that. When Bhagawan, Adi Shankara is telling, One who thinks of the Lord will always be happy in all and only be happy. So once you're happy, you will not be afraid, you will not be angry, you will not be attached, nothing. Because once you're happy, you don't need anything in this world. When you don't need anything in this world, you're not worried about anything else. You are not angry with anyone because anyway you are happy. So that's Swami started with that. So if you are happy all times, because thinking that the Lord belongs to you, He is your own child, and He is there with you, He is the closest relative, He will look after, then the Lord is born.
Good. Thank you so much. That's
Yes,
good.
it's a very nice name.
Yeah, Arjuna is addressed in several places in different names according to the situations.
And Uncle, you had mentioned also in the Sanskrit class how Nanda comes from Namda, or like that which we get when we think everything is not mine.
Yes.
So I guess God is also the child of that kind of thinking.
Yes, because everything belongs to the Lord. Then you are happy, you are not worried. Yes, then also it comes to you as well.
Brother, am I right or not? I don't know. Something we learned Nanda also equivalent to the Nanda is God too. In one class,
Yes, God is happiness.
Okay.
Happiness is God. See, actually, just to explain what Kalyani was telling, Nanda comes from the word nam and the. Nam means not mine. The means when you think nothing is mine, then what is given is joy. Na ma means not mine. Nam. That it gives you something, no? The present it gives is joy. It's namda. So that's what Kalyani was telling. And that is God. Who gives, a person who gives is God. Even the humility is given by God also. Even egolessness is given by, that's also His grace. And He is like that also. God doesn't have ego and He always gives. So yes, Brother Dasan, please go ahead.
So, Sairam brother, according to this first paragraph, Arjuna has a doubt. He's asking from Krishna, why you trying to give the high stage only for jnanis? Ajnanis, why they cannot get any liberation or something like that?
Yeah.
So for that, they have to develop in their spiritual sadhanas. They have to give up their desires. Until that, they have to go through the life and death cycle. Eventually, they will reach to the stage. That's what Krishna was saying. And most of the people, they are asking, when they are believing the God, when they get sick or something like that, that time they are begging the God to cure from that one. Some people, they are asking for the power and the fame and jobs and everything. But no, that's what Swami is saying. I came here to give the ultimate goal, the self-realization. But I'm better than the wish-fulfilling tree. So, but nobody's prepared to ask that kind of things. That's the purpose I came to this earth. So we have to understand that kind of self-realization, that whatever the jnani, we have to go to the jnani's level. To at least we have to work towards to that level. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother.
I hope everybody understand these 4 types of devotees who go to the Lord. Arthi, Artharthi, Jignasu, and Gnani. So these 4 types of devotees Swami is mentioning here.
If the jnani, if he is always in Brahma Tattva, immersed in that, would he be seeking for anything? Because Krishna is saying that those who seek me are of 4 types.
A good question, Sister Kalyani. What does the jnani seek? Because Krishna is telling there are 4 devotees, and he says jnani is also a devotee. What is the jnani seeking?
Brother, grace,
Liberation.
is grace to merge us.
So jnani is the ultimate goal. He reached to the self-realization. He's not seeking anything. Even Krishna himself is that I am the jnani.
Yes.
Thank you, Sairam.
It is another is
Maybe Jnani speaks permanent residence. Territory. Maybe the third category that Jignasu, maybe like maybe temporary resident category or something, when immigrants coming, they would give maybe 5 years or 10 years, then they would make it permanent. Maybe the fourth category, once they got into that level, then they would be granted that jnani category.
I think so, because Arjuna himself is asking the question, why jnanis are getting your attention more? So that means God is giving some attention to the jnanis. So I think Kalyani's question was, what does the jnani seek? Jnani just seeks the Lord, I think.
They mention it. He's immersed in the Brahma Tattva. So that's what he already immersed with the God. So they always connection with the God. So he doesn't have to worry about anything. So we seek solution and we looking for, and when we know we got the right person, and we don't worry about it. Okay, that person will take care of us. So that's how I think the jnanis, they always immersed with the God. They are silent.
Thank you, brother. So Kalyani, I think the jnani seeks the final merger. Until then, he is also worshipping by just contemplating on the tattvam principle, that I am you or you are I. But the final merger has still not taken place.
When you say final merger, it's like when the body leaves?
Body leaves, everything is lost. Yes. I think, because in Sandhya Nivarani, I don't know whether we remember, Swami says, he's giving another example of each of these actually. He says the flower, the unripe fruit, the ripe fruit, and then the ripe fruit gets detached. But there is a process there also. Even after fruit is ripe, a ripe fruit, there is a time period for the ripe fruit also to drop off the tree. So the jnani is the ripe fruit. I think that's the analogy which Swami had given in Sandhya Nivarani. And he's saying you can't become a fruit without being a flower. So flower, unripe fruit, the ripe fruit, and the complete detachment, all these are part of the process, Swami says. I think that's what he's referring to here also. And Arti, from Arti, it becomes Artharthi, then it becomes a Jignasu, and then it becomes a Jnani. I think this, so, and Swami, Sandhya Nivarani says there is no difference between any of them. It is just that they are in that path, and that's all. It's part of the growth. I think that's what I remember from Sandhya Nivarani. I think everyone can go and revise that section. Okay, sister. Yes, Auntie.
Sorry. Go ahead, Arun. Please go ahead.
No. I just.
Sometimes even after reaching the stage of Gnani, he still has something in him which lingers on. So I think he waits, just like the fruit which is ripe will have to fall off by itself. So also Gnani waits for some time for the other worldly matters in which he is involved to get completely cut from him. I think he waits for that, and then and for the grace of Lord. That's what Swami is saying, why you are always favoring Gnanis, yeah, Karjunas.
I think, yeah, that point was also described by Swami in Sandhya Nivarani. He says, there's one or two things hold them on, and even Loka Kalyanam, to help the world also, something like that also can hold them. And when that also leaves, then they merge with me or something like that. Swami gave some examples of one or two people also.
Yeah.
Yes, brother. I think Sister Vijaya lifted, but then she dropped her hand.
Sarah, no, we both, Brother Aruno and Mani Auntie answered the question, because I was thinking they're all stages in our life, when we look back at our own life, we may have had a desire. And then at some point, when you do your sadhanas and Swami fulfills it, just what he says, he fulfills it. And then you wonder, am I not supposed to continue with that? No. Now it's next stage, and then you wait for that stage to come and just continue with your sadhana. Continue to have faith in him, so that different times of our lives, it is inevitably, as the age is moving, and you can think of your spiritual sadhana as bearing fruit. Swami is taking care of your spiritual development, all the stages and many lifetimes. So it's just, we just do our sadhana, have very great feeling of love and compassion for the Lord. I see this as like, how do I get closer to that love? And Swami also calls us Prema Swarupa. So we are Swami. we are, not we have Swami, but we are Swami. So always to remember that, although we are like puzzled, one day the puzzlement will go. Sairam, thank you.
Sairam, Sister Sairam. Yes, Brother Tasan.
So, Sairam, brother, for example, we say Shirdi Baba is a jnani. The reason is, even though he was with the people, but he talked, he cried, and he participated all the activities, but his consciousness always, his mind always invertedly connected to the Atma all the time. So when you come to the jnani stage, you have the full wisdom. There's no doubt. It's like a sunlight and the dark. When the sunlight comes, there's no dark. You cannot have both. So jnanis, they don't have any ignorance. They have full wisdom. There's no doubt. Only thing, once they finish their duty, then that time they will merge with the divine. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Sairam, brother, the Jignasu is blessed with the chance to do the Nishkama Karma, right?
Yes.
What is I know desireless karma, well, you don't expect the fruit of your action, right? With the proper guide as Guru as a guide, that doesn't mean that we pray God and do things. Why again proper guide of Guru? When you offer, so that means I'm seeing, so Jignastu has to have a Guru then.
Yes, that's what Swami is saying, sister. Jignasu means one who is interested in knowledge, one who is seeking knowledge. One who wants to study what the Lord is teaching.
So we are here, Jignasu.
Yes, some element of Jignasu only, otherwise no one will come for study circle.
Okay, thank you.
Only that's it. You wonder, why are those people? Why is not everyone attending study circle? This is a question everyone asks. We need not worry. If we are interested, then we come and try to learn. And Swami is the teacher. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sai Ram,
Yes, Auntie.
Swami is our Sadguru and he's avatar. Same way Sriti Baba is also an avatar and he was a Sadguru and he's still a Sadguru to all of us. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Yeah, thank you very much, Auntie. Yeah, I think, see that the problem is sometimes people refer to even Swami as Jnani or Shirdi Sai Baba as Jnani. It is their lack of understanding both the concept. What is the avatar? What is Jnani? I think in common man, doesn't have a good understanding of the word Jnani. Whereas Krishna is telling Jnani is also devotee. So that I think that's true.
Saira Maniandi, is there any equivalent word, Tamil word for Arthati? Arthati is a Sanskrit word. Is there any Tamil equivalent word for that one, Arthati?
Auntie, you have to unmute yourself.
Sister Anandi, it is Artharthi. I don't think anything, one who seeks the pleasures of the world, property, power, self, all, he is Artharthi.
So,
Artham, money or wealth, the one who goes after the wealth. என்ன சொல்றது தமிழ்ல என்ன இருக்கு ஏதோ வேர்ட் இருக்கா அதுல
bohi or
see, the sister, some of these concepts are not present. To my knowledge, is not similar concept is not present in Tamil. That's why you don't have the vocabulary to describe it.
Yeah, I don't have.
If you want to explain, you have to explain it in a long sentence. Arthi means one person who goes after any suffering. One who is suffering is Arthi. Okay, of either physical health, worldly problems, all that is Arthi. Artharthi means one who is that problem is solved, but now he wants to make more.
Yeah.
All kinds of wealth. It can be power, money, property, accumulation, position, popularity, name, fame. Everything falls under Artharthi.
I thought whether sometimes we don't know, but there would be good terminology for.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Possibly there, but it is, when I say it is not there, it is the way Bhagavad Gita is describing. Similar explanation is not present. That's the reality, because if I have looked at even translation in Tamil by Tamil scholars who have translated Bhagavad Gita, they have not given one single word to explain it. So that's why I said there, because the people who have translated Bhagavad Gita, from Ramakrishna Mission and all, they have multiple translations, but there's no one has used a single word, a term. So that's why I said, that is why Swami says we have to learn Sanskrit. We cannot translate everything. You can translate the concept, but still something could be lost in the translation.
Yeah.
But even though they translate, brother, they will bring a word. For that, you need another translation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think if no one else has something to say, we can go to the next slide if it's okay. I think it's pretty straightforward. Swami's explained everything nicely.
Yeah.
I am like the Kalpa Vriksha, tree of heaven, wish-fulfilling tree. My task is to give each what he asks for. I have no prejudice and no favoritism. Not even the shadow of cruelty can touch me. No fault can be imputed to me. The rays of the sun fall equally upon all that are directly in their way. But if something is behind something else, inside a closed room, for instance, how can the sun illumine? Cultivate the higher yearnings, and you receive the higher stages. The fault lies in the aspirant and his aspirations, not in the attitude of the Lord. Arjuna, man gives up revering and seeking me, who is his very self. How foolish of him! He is not anxious to reach me. On the other hand, he pursues lesser attainments that are temporary, untrue, transitory. I shall tell you the reason for this strange and stupid behavior. Karmopasana, work with an eye on the fruit, gives quick result. Man seeks only what is available here and now, in a concrete form, capable of being grasped by his senses. Man generally finds reality too difficult to attain. So he is carried away by the attraction of flimsy pleasures, away from the full joy derivable from transcending the senses. The achievement of jnana is the inner victory. It is won after long and arduous struggle. Men do not generally have the needed patience. Moreover, they attach greater importance to the gross body, the stula sharira itself. The body can be happy only with objects that cater to the senses. So men do not seek jnana, which will send them to the paths where the senses are unwanted. They yearn for karma siddhi, fulfillment of worldly ambitions, and not jnana siddhi. Those who are caught by urges of the intellect are fewer than those who are caught by the senses and their urges. The sensual-minded are drawn by the obvious, the patent, the perceptible, and the physical. The few who are spiritually minded yearn for the imperceptible, invisible bliss of merging with the universal absolute. Theirs is the correct path. Karmopasana, work with an eye on the fruits, is the incorrect path. My task is to make clear to all the value of dharma karmas, which have to be adopted after due discrimination.
Thank you, Kalyan. Because it's the chapter 4, which is Karma Yoga. So Krishna is clarifying the type of actions and how we should not look for the fruits, you know. I think that's what Swami is. I will stop here. I will open it up. I think some of the questions about why fear is troubling us, Swami has covered, I guess, in the last paragraph. So I will stop here. Any thoughts? Anyone, please go ahead.
The word karma upasana, so it's karma and upasana? Oh.
I think work as worship.
Work as worship. But isn't that a good thing? Isn't that like nishkama karma?
Yeah, but nishkama karma is a little more than karmopasana, I think. That's my understanding based on what Swami is telling here. But I will open it up. Anyone else has some thought?
Yes, brother. Nishkarma karma and dharma karma is one and the same?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I think Swami have discussed earlier. In the Veda, the karma kanda, it basically tells if you do this action, they're sanctioned by the Vedas. but people think, okay, this is the right way to do. If you do all this, it's meritorious deeds. And many people follow that path. But what Swami is telling is that will not take you to Jignasu or to Jnana state. But I think that's what Swami refers to here as the correct path. Because ultimately, we have to grow to that stage. So Swami is telling, just thinking that, okay, I'm doing all the right things, meritorious things, doing charity, all that. Swami says that does not take you to the state of jnana or jignasu, because you need to do a little more than that. I think that's what Swami is. I think you asked Karmapasana, isn't it a good thing? It is a good thing, but Swami says how long you want to be in that good thing, that stage. I think that's what Swami is sort of trying to say. But
So you
as
still
long as
have,
you're, pardon?
so you're doing those good actions, but with the result in mind, like you want some benefit from that. Okay.
Okay.
So, Sairam brother, so in that case, so we can tell if you do good karma, then you'll get good marks. Then you can go to heaven. If we do any karma, if we get 0 marks, you can merge into the divine. If we get less marks, you're going to be to the hell.
Brother,
So,
if you think 0 marks, then you, I think, failed grade.
No, you know that. So if we get karma mark 0, you're going to be merged with the divine. If you get good marks, you can go to the heaven and you have to come back. Lower marks, you have to go to hell. So niskarma karma is 0 marks. Karma pasana, if you do good, you go to the heaven and come back.
Plus or minus.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Brother,
Different
something is
mathematics, different exam and different test, different examiner.
important.
That's
Yes,
the problem.
thank you.
Spiritual. Yes, brother. Sister Aruna, go ahead.
Brother, sorry, the something is came to my mind, so I just thought to share. See, the Swami is not giving importance of for the gross body, right? Sometimes that is in a nice way of thinking. I think it came to my mind. Gross, we say that, right? This is gross, kind of filthy. So it's equivalent, like a body, also same way of thinking. You have to think like that, not giving importance to the body. The other word, other meaning also, you have to put it together and don't give importance for it. Thank you. Sorry.
Sairam, sister. Actually, Swami is talking about the gross body. In Tande Nivarani, there's a nice description. Mala, Mutra, Durganda. Like, I think Mani Auntie will remember, I hope. Swami says our gross body is filled with Mala, Mutra, blood, and Rakta and Durganda. Actually, our bodies, but we try to cover it all up and then walk around as if everything is fine. But so the gross body is actually gross. Okay. So, okay, Sairam, Sister Vijaya.
Sairam, thank you. Again, it's very, very interesting. I'm looking at how Arjuna asked this initial discussion here. It says, why don't you give grace for those who are, no interest in God, I forget the exact words he used, but it's a very interesting question, because when you look around you, and yet Swami is saying in here, there are different stages. The fault lies in the aspirant and his aspirations, not in the attitude of the Lord. The Lord is always blessing, right? He gives his full blessing on everyone. But and this is what is the transformation model he's come here for. And for those who are ignorant of God, who have never experienced the joy, the peace, the shanti, the incredible benefit of being with God, you see them all around you. Even in our families, you can see them, right? And and then you ask God, what can you do? And he always comes and tells you, you be the best light you can. You be happy. you just, be equanimity. Don't do anything out of a reaction. You use that opportunity to transform yourself, not to think, oh, the poor things, they don't have God and I have God. No, that is not the attitude. So it's a calling to show compassion to the world, not to react to the stupidity or to the ignorance, but to measure it against my own, for example, my own ignorance, and my lack, my full of ego, not being able to have compassion for those, even if they are doing horrible things. So it's like it's when you, and when you can have sympathy for yourself, right? When the example Swami uses is, one when you poke your finger, in your eye, you don't scold your finger, you don't chop off that finger. When you accidentally do something wrong, you have compassion for yourself. So it's, the Lord is always compassionate, and I think that's how transformation can happen. That more of us, we ask Swami for giving us the patience, give us the love, if I don't see love, and then he always answers. He always answers when you go with, really, Swami, I don't have compassion for this person. That question itself, provokes an answer. Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, I'd like to pray. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
So, for the Vidya's thing, I like to add to the point. Most of the people are not attracted to the spiritual thing. If we take gold as a magnet, and if we have another iron, if there is no rust or corrosion, it can attract easily. But if we have that more rust and everything, you cannot attract it. The reason is if you have more desires, you are not going to be into the spiritual path. That's what God's light, and this paragraph, they're saying sunlight given to everyone equally. But if you are inside the house, how are you going to get the sunlight if your doors are all closed? So if you have less attachment, less desire, then you will attracted to the spiritual. That's my understanding. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Brother, Sairam brother, one of the question is from the previous slide is keep on coming to my mind. What is Arjuna is saying about Krishna? It's like you are not, when you are saying jnanis are getting closer, the Attati, Anattat, Arati and Jignasu, they are getting different way of connecting to the God. So one sentence the Arjuna is saying, they don't have the discrimination to understand, to learn the shastras or things. So in that way, only Krishna is giving whatever they are asking. So is it a karma then for them to have that kind of knowledge? They didn't go to learn to reach the stage of, like, at least to understand Atma or Jignasa, to read those things. So that also comes under karma then. So Arjuna's question is then right. So there is a discrimination there.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. So my answer to that question, sister, I don't know if it's right or wrong, is that we do not know the growth of every individual around us, because we really don't know. But the problem is, we think everyone who is a human being is fully human, or fully in a certain state. So I think that is the problem which we have, because we really don't know what level of maturity each person is in. The Lord knows. It's like, if you look at a small child, a child can only do so much. It's to have an expectation, a child who is just trying to walk, that they'll be able to understand some very heavy topic of universe level is very difficult. But the problem is, when human beings we see around us, we really don't know what is their inner level in a being, what they are interested in, what their vasanas are, what their karma are. We really don't know, and that's why we get confused. And I think Arjuna is also confused, so he's asking. Whereas Krishna is saying, you really don't understand, what people are, where they are. Some are arthi, some are artharthi, some are jignasu, some are jnani. So I think each of us have to figure out where we are and then work on it. I think that's all we can do, because it's very difficult for us to measure where and what others are doing. You can sort of have a sense, what they may be interested in, but there's nothing much more you can do, because only the Lord can deal with it. Okay.
So it's basically, is your karma and the God grace make you to move to a different level, right? To understanding. So others has to respect how Krishna is respecting, that he has not knowledge, and whatever he's asking, only he's blessing with that. And Jnani, he didn't worry about it. So we
Sister,
also has to collect, we have to represent that, right?
Sister, Swami has answered this question in the last paragraph, the first two sentences. The achievement of jnana is an inner victory. It is won after long and arduous struggle. Okay. Men do not generally have the needed patience. Men do not, and they attach much greater importance to the gross body. So the thing is, there's a lot of long work, arduous work, and people who do it, they get the result.
So we have to do our work. Don't be judgmental. That's what's the
Exactly.
Thank you.
I think that's what it is. It doesn't help us or the others. Yes, Brother Dasan.
So, Sairam brother, most of the people, they are thinking because if they have good professional or if they have good money, and they're happy with that, because they think as far as our sensual object is satisfied, they're happy. Then in spiritual path, they think it is very difficult. I don't want to waste the time. Whatever the money I have, I'm happy. My house is happy. My kids are happy. This is enough for me. But they don't look forward to the permanent happiness and those kind of things. Thank you, Sairam. So they have to do the sadhana.
Yeah, exactly, Sairam. In Telugu translation, what brother just now said is, Swami uses the word pratyakshanandamu. Pratyakshanandamu is, you are concerned with the worldly pleasure and you get it very quickly like this. But it is shashvatamaina parokshanandamanu prayinchudu. So he makes difference between pratyakshananda and parokshananda. So what we are discussing about, in the gross body, we can get satisfaction. Very worldly pleasure can be, you can attain
instantly.
Instant satisfaction. But we forget that there is another permanent satisfaction. That shashvatamaina parokshanandamanaku prayatnin paru. They don't make an attempt to get that. So it's not, in other words, he gives in a different way, the temporary, untrue, transitory. Exactly, it's not translated that.
Yes,
that way.
yes. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Sister. Yes, Kalyan.
Can you just translate the words again? Pratyaksha means?
Pratyakshananda means what you see in front of your eyes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Pratyaksha means what you see ahead in front of you. So means with your eyes. But parokshana means which is beyond the eyesight, I think. Sorry, Auntie. Translation.
Beyond any perception. Beyond any perception, the ananda that you get is parokshananda.
Thank you.
Beyond sensory perception, you can say.
Yeah, beyond sensory perception. And one more is there, aparokshananda. Go beyond all these senses. Go beyond, transcend these two, and then you go to aparokshananda.
Which is what the jnani is seeking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Auntie, Sister Ananti.
Sairam, Lord Krishna says, my task is to give each what they ask for. I have no prejudice, no favoritism. But that means that Swami would give us whatever we ask for, but we don't know what we should ask for. That is one question. Sometimes we all ask, whatever we want. But in the next sentence is beautifully said here, the sun rays always would be available for all of us. But if we are inside the room, how we will get the sunlight? Say for an example, some people, they are inside the room, but the key is not in their hand. Someone else would be, will be holding the keys, or even the goat will have the key, So if that is the case, even if we pray continuously to the goat, please give us the, maybe the give up, please help us to give up the attachment or worldly desires and everything. If we are in a closed room for those devotees, how they will get into the grace of the Swami, that is my thought in here. Swami says, my task is to give each what they ask for. Some people, they continuously ask for, Swami, please give me, something. I don't want to have this one. I want to merge with you. They continuously pray. But Swami doesn't listen. But these people, they don't know what they really want to, or whether maybe something in between the God and them, maybe the key is not in their hand to open the door and get out from that one.
Very good question, sister. So sister's question is, if we are in a closed room, the way Swami is saying, and we don't have the key, what to do? The Lord has to come to our rescue, and if He doesn't come to our rescue, what can we do? I think that's so. I will open it up for discussion. So if we are, pardon, Auntie.
My question is, who has taken the key? Who has got the key? Key is taken by somebody. You don't have the key. To whom have you handed over the key?
That they didn't even give me the discretion to know who has got the key.
I don't know.
Okay, so then what do we do? I think that's a very nice question, sister. Brother Dasan, if you have the answer.
Yeah, yes, just
brother. If you have the
all
key,
the
please
rooms,
hand it over.
No, yes, all the rooms, they have windows. Open the window, sunlight will come inside. If you are lazy, you cannot do. Don't worry about the key. There's windows too.
Brother, window is also locked and the key is missing.
Windows also locked. You break the window to get the sunlight.
Okay, anyone else has some idea for this? So I think, sister, I think I have, see, the problem is sometimes we need to know what we are praying for. If we know that the key is missing, the first thing we should pray for is key. So, because he is the master key holder, you ask him either open the door or, see, there's this nice Swami is talking about Kalpa Vriksha. There's a story which Swami has told. And this same similar story has been told by Ramakrishna also. See, there was one person who was like, he had gone on some trip apparently, and he was lying under a tree. He didn't know that it was Kalpavriksha. So he was thinking it's a very hot day, if there's some cool breeze, it would be nice. He thought, and suddenly there was a cool breeze. Then that person, oh, nice cool breeze. I'm just sleeping on the ground here. If only I had a nice bed, it would be very, very nice. So apparently the bed appeared with all the softest blankets. So he was lying down on that. He said, "Oh, it is, I am just alone. My feet have been, hurting a lot. I have walked a lot. If only my wife was here and she massaged my feet, it would be so nice." Then right away, the wife also appeared and she was massaging the feet. So Ramakrishna's version is slightly different, but Swami's version is this. Then he suddenly got a doubt. This woman who has come, is it really my wife or is it a witch? Oh, is Rakshasa or somebody. Then suddenly that woman turned into a Rakshasa. And then he said, "Oh my God, this person is going to eat me maybe." And that person ate him. So Ramakrishna tells a slightly different story. He says this fellow was thinking, whatever I'm thinking is coming right. Maybe if suddenly a tiger or something is an open area, I don't have a house, maybe a tiger may show up. A tiger shows up and eats it. So the thing is, sometimes we don't know what our thought should be, because apparently God only does one thing. Whatever we think, he says, "Tata astu." Let it be so. Let it be so. And so sometimes we need to ask the right boon also. Like Kumbhakarna asked something and then that was the end of him. Something. Okay, Sister Vijaya, please go ahead.
Sairam, I won't take long, I hope. But that's a very good analogy. I had a real, I don't know what real is, at Prashanti Nilayam, waiting for Swami to come, with thousands of other devotees. We know the experience, most of us. And so Swami didn't come and was very, very packed. And suddenly I had this very migraine headache. And I don't usually get migraine, but I got it so severe. And I was like, Swami, if I had a sweet, maybe I can take a sweet and, it will go. Suddenly I had that thought. And suddenly the lady next to me said, "Oh, you want a sweet?" And I was like shocked, how did she read my mind? I took that sweet and the headache didn't go. And then next thing I remember, I asked for water. Maybe I should drink some water, this terrible headache. And suddenly the lady who gave the sweet turned around to me and said, I didn't even tell anybody I had a headache. And she said, "Would you like some water?" And then by the time I'm like thinking, what is this? I can think something in here and I'm getting it, but the headache is not going away. So I drank a little bit of the water. She hid it in her sari, and she gave that water to me without even asking. And then I thought, oh, now I must have somebody to fan. If only if I bought the fan. So maybe the whole hall is Kalpavriksha tree, So suddenly the lady next to me started fanning. And I said, oh, that is very good. Maybe it's hot, but the headache didn't go. So anyway, it went on for at least 5 rounds. And then finally it hit me. Oh my God, Swami is doing this. And I just need to chant, his name or just chant. So I was sitting there and just chanting Swami, and suddenly the headache lifted, real true story, and Swami walked in. So I was like, oh my God, it took so long for me to understand that lesson. Sairam, I hope.
Wonderful.
Sairam.
Sairam, so
I don't know.
Yes, go ahead.
All of us cannot have the same thing what we expect, because Baba says it is won after long and arduous struggle. Prarabdham, it comes with us, right? According to that only, even our spiritual journey will go. So I think that is why we vary in our stages. Thank you, sir. I don't know.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Very, very nice discussion today. It's about 4:29. I hope Sister Ananthi finds the key.
Yeah. Certainly, Swami would come to my dream today and he will give me the key. Okay.
Sister Ananthi,
yeah.
Ananthi, when you get the key, please let me know. Okay, Sairam.
Certainly. Swami will tell me.
Okay. Sairam.
So we only hope, we pray, let us all pray that all of us get the keys which we need.
All of us get the key.
Because with the real, without the key is, as Sister Vijaya has nice said, the key is his name.
His name.
So if we get the, do we have that? If we have that, then we are fine. That key should open. That key should open everything. That's the understanding.
Yeah.
So I think we'll close the session today.
Okay.
Sorry, I will be missing this wonderful discussion for the next 2 Sundays because I'm going to be away. There's an Atirutra Mahayajna happening in the US. So I'm planning to go. So I'll be missing, but the study cycle will go on. I will ask Sister Kalyani and Sister Narmada to continue. I'm sure you will have wonderful discussions. I will miss, but I will catch up when I get back. Sai Ram to all of you. Happy Ugadi. Yesterday was Ugadi.
Yeah.
And
happy journey, safe journey.
Yes,
and
Sai Ram.
Back.
Sai Ram.
We'll pray for us too, brother. Thank you, Saira.
Samasta Loka will.
Yeah.
So, Uncle, would it be possible to just postpone the study circle to when you're back?
I think we can do that.
Auntie is here.
No.
Just see, Kalyani, I think you all just should read. I think still there can be discussion because I think the continuity should not be interrupted because sadhana is regularity is more important.
Auntie, you're not going anywhere, yeah?
I may not be able to explain everything, but whatever little I know.
Yeah.
But Swami has to. Swami is the explainer, so it'll happen.
Okay.
Swami will put the idea in somebody's head. The keys will be found, Auntie.
Okay.
So Kalyani, you just still read and discuss. If there are questions, we can continue. No problem. But Swami will give the keys. I'm sure.
We can park the questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Sai Ram.
Sai
We'll
Ram.
close with Samasta Loka. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om
Shanti.
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om. Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram. Thank you so much.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.